Hey ho, Sparkle Seeker! If you want a life that makes you excited to get up in the morning and that puts sparkles in your eyes, then you've come to the right place. I cannot wait for you to listen in while I jam on leading a happy and joyful life on your own terms. Welcome to Sparkly You.
Hello and welcome, beautiful sparklers, to this Sunday Inspiration episode of the Sparkly You podcast. I want to kick off this episode with a quote that I love very, very much, and it comes from Harry Potter, and if you haven't noticed already, I'm a huge fan. So this quote is from Albus Dumbledore, and if you don't know who that is, get off my podcast. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't know who that is, it's the old wise man in the Harry Potter series, and there is this quote that has always stuck with me. And that is, happiness can be found in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. And he says this to all of the students at the wizarding school. Remember, this is complete fiction. After a presumably really dark and really dangerous wizard had escaped from prison. And due to that, the prison guards start guarding the school. And these prison guards literally suck the happiness from you. So that's a scenario in where he says this. I thought to myself when I heard that, if Albus Dumbledore, one of the wisest fictional characters ever, if you ask me, is convinced that even in a time like this you can find happiness, then what makes us think that whatever our circumstances are, no matter how horrible we think everything is right now, what makes us think that we can find happiness within these circumstances? So I really like that thought, that we can find joy even in times when we're less than happy in general. And I don't really like that thought. I really think that it is true. I mean, just think about it, like, have you ever been in a bad mood and then your favorite song came on the radio and suddenly you were, jumping on the couch with a hairbrush in your hand, singing from the top of your lungs into your air quote microphone? Because I have. And yes, that's a visual for you that you can keep forever if you want. So I think the thing is, even if, after the song is over and you go back to being sad again after that song, you still had like 30 minutes of happiness because that song turned on your light. And I think we always have that choice, whether we want something to turn on our light or whether we choose to turn on our light ourselves or if we don't. I think we always have that choice. So I think the biggest mistake, when we're trying to turn on the light and to be happy is the anticipation that happiness means living a life where we squeal with joy like every single second of every single day. And well, first of all, I'm not sure if that's even possible to squeal with joy every single moment of every single day, even though I'm willing to try to get there. But the more important part here is that when we talk about, finding happiness and creating a joyful life, that 24/7, every second of every single day kind of happiness is not necessarily what I'm talking about. It's not really the goal. I think turning on your light is great, but you wouldn't be able to actually appreciate the light without some darkness from time to time. I mean, just ask people from the north of Scandinavia, what they think about all light all the time, all during summer. I don't think they're too happy about that, just as they're probably not that happy about all dark all the time during winter. So, but if the goal isn't the happiness 24/7, then what is it? And for me, I'd say, sticking with that Albus Dumbledore quote, it is knowing where your light switch is. It is knowing how to turn on your light when it's getting too dark around you. And it is knowing how to find happiness and joy within that darkness. So where is your light switch? That is the question that I want to leave you with. How can you turn on the light when you feel like you're caught in the darkness? How can you bring a few moments of joy into dark times? Not as in, how can you completely eliminate dark times from your life? That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, where is your light switch? Where can you find some light within the dark? What does that for you? What sparks joy in you? What brings you a few moments of happiness? What makes you light up? What is it? Where is your light switch? I would really love to know, and I would just love for you to think about that. And yeah, maybe leave me a comment on my website or a review for this podcast and let me know where your light switch is. I would love to know. Alrighty, that is it for this Sunday Inspiration episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the subscribe button or the follow button depending on where you're listening. And I will talk to you again on Thursday. Bye-bye.